Alright, good day, class. Kyle, where's Eddie?
Finally made it to the beach. After lots of people trying to kill us to get here, though. But it is beautiful out, and I got my umbrella, so it's gonna be a good day to skip class.
Well, we're just gonna have to go on without him. James, can you summarize chapter 1 for us, since it's been a while? Just quick summary about the characters and what the story's about. Sure, Professor. So in chapter 1, Camping Buddies, we meet Ben, John, and Chris. They are going camping. Ben and John are driving through the forest in the beginning and meet up with Chris. They start setting up their tents, getting camp ready before going fishing, and Ben has a hard time putting his tent up because he seems like he's never gone camping before. So once everything is set for camp, they go into the woods to this river, start fishing, and while they're fishing, Ben's ADD starts taking selfies with everybody, just distracted from fishing. Fish catches Chris's line, and so he starts reeling it in and trying to catch it, but the line snaps, and so the fish gets away, and Chris real quick hooks his line, puts bait on it, casts it out before Ben can even realize what's going on, and just blows Ben away because of how easy he makes it seem. So that was kind of entertaining. After the fishing, sun goes down, Ben hides, the fishing bait, the shrimp, under Chris's truck because he didn't want to keep it in his blazer. He didn't want to keep it in his tent because it smells, and so he's like, I'll just put it under Chris's truck because I'm a dick. And so they have dinner. I think they made hot dogs or something, and they're hanging out after dinner and chit-chatting and stuff, and the guys ask Ben how work is going, how the pizzeria is, and Ben goes, I quit there a couple days ago. And they're like, what, you're unemployed? Jonathan can't believe it. And he's like, you got another job? And Ben's like, no. And so they're like, I'm sure Lisa, Ben's girlfriend, is thrilled. And that's when Ben, they're actually surprised too that Lisa's not with them because they're attached to the hip. And this is when Ben reveals that she broke up with him like 3 weeks ago. Ben didn't say anything to John or Chris about the breakup, so they're shocked that after 2 years she dumps him, and he doesn't say anything to them. So that really kind of hurts John and Chris. That's their good friend. He didn't say anything to them about it. So they're working through it, and then they start hearing gunshots, and so gunshots are getting louder, getting closer, and so they panic and they start packing up their tents and camp and scrambling. Ben again having a hard time taking his tent down, and so Jonathan gets his torn down, packed into Ben's blazer. Chris is getting his taken care of, packed into his truck, and then Ben pretty much just grabs his whole tent and tries to shove it into the bed of Chris's truck, and that's when Chris starts helping break it down and stuff. As they're going to leave, Ben realizes he left the shrimp under Chris's truck, and so he goes for the shrimp, and that's when these people with rifles and guns show up and start threatening them. And so I think a couple gunshots go off kind of in Ben's direction. I think they shoot the shrimp out of his hands, spills out onto the ground. Ben takes off to get back into the blazer, and he and John are trying to leave, but the blazer wouldn't start. Madam Reliable wasn't being reliable, and so when she wouldn't start, and finally, after like the 5th or 6th time, as the men and women are closing in on them, the engine finally fires up, and Ben guns it. So they're racing through the woods on this winding trail. Ben catches up to Chris, but then these Humvees pull up behind them, and they're shooting at the two, the truck and the blazer, almost like they're trying to kill them. Ben and Chris veer onto a side trail, to the right, and it's like a split second turn, and barely make it away, so they travel, a little while in the dark before coming to a stop and going, what the hell was that about, and trying to figure, wrap their heads around what happened. And, because the people didn't identify themselves. They weren't like, we're police, we're military, they just started bullying them, almost threatening them, So chapter 1 ends with them kind of deciding to park overnight because of, the rush, afraid of crashing into a tree, and then, pick back up in the morning when there's sunlight. So that's where it drops off, leading into chapter 2. Yes, James, that is a very accurate summary of chapter 1. We get to meet the guys and stuff, so it's, a very exciting beginning.
What's up, man?
What are you up to?
I'm just chilling. Class was canceled today, so I skipped the rest of them because I did the homework and it didn't even matter. I was supposed to read the second chapter of this book, and, he canceled the class, so figured come hang out at the beach. It's very beautiful out today, so...
What book?
Oh, the book is The Guardians of the Mad Colonel by somebody you have never heard of before. It's about these guys that go camping, and then they get chased out of camp by these jerks with guns and end up lost in the woods. So the second chapter, we meet these 3 chicks, Cassidy, Nicole, and Taylor, and they are chased by a bear and run into the guys, and then they get chased by the bear. So it's just so-so. So they hunt these girls and end up driving all day, lost out in the woods, so they're trying to get back home, and end up camping overnight with them, getting to know them and stuff. It was actually kind of chill, but it didn't even matter that I read it. So I could have read it tonight or tomorrow night, and it would have been fine. I would have had a pop quiz anyways, because the professor does that kind of shady shit. So here I am, out in the sun. And, yeah.
Where can I find it?
Yeah, like I said, you can probably check them out on Amazon today. That's where I got mine from.
Take it easy, man.
Cool, thanks, man. You know what? You take it easy, too. Have fun.
Kyle, how about you summarize chapter 2? You're supposed to have done the reading of chapter 2, The Lost Six, so can you quickly summarize it for me? Sure thing, Professor. So at the start of chapter 2, we find Jonathan didn't sleep at all the night before because of the car chase. And so he has to listen to Ben snore in the front seat. So once the sun finally rises, Chris gets out of his truck, goes, and wakes Ben up by tapping on the windshield. So the guys try and figure out, what do we do next? Because those people back there wanted to kill him. And so Chris says that the trail will eventually lead them back to the city. So Ben asks if they can have breakfast first. It's the most important meal of the day. And Chris didn't really want to, but his stomach ratted him out. So they have breakfast on the side of the trail. And as they're sitting there, they ask themselves, what are they going to do if they make it back home alive? Jonathan says that, he'd probably, after going home, go back to the school and go swimming. Chris says that he'd probably have his girlfriend, Kayla, come over. And as Ben's about to answer, these 3 incredibly hot chicks come running out of the forest, yelling that there's a bear. So that they all scramble into the truck and blazer and take off as the bear catches up to them. And so the black-haired girl goes with Ben and John, and she teases Ben because man reliable smells like old men. It's kind of funny. And so once they get away from the bear, they all pull over and get to know the 3 women. We meet Nicole, Cassidy, and Taylor. So Nicole and Cassidy are sisters, and the three of them together are classmates. And so the guys offer to help them get back to the car. And so they start driving. Well, they drive for hours, stop for lunch, and then they drive some more until the sun goes down again, and they decide to camp for the night. So they're camping, and this is when we really get to know the characters. Find out that Chris and Cassidy want to be nurses, go to nursing school. Nicole, she wants to join the Air Force after getting her AA degree. Taylor wants to be a teacher. Kind of sounds like James. Jonathan is in the television broadcasting program. He seems to dig it. Ben, being Ben, is just doing general ed stuff, barely passing. So once they're done catching up with each other, they settle in for the night. And they are the Lost Six. That's right, Kyle. We do meet Nicole, Cassidy, and Taylor this chapter. It's definitely a very interesting way of introducing them. Not sure if the author would describe them as hot women, but it's up to the reader's imagination. So if you imagine three attractive women, more the power to you. But that was a good description.
Wait a second. Was it Lit9000 that was canceled? Or was it human biology? Shit.
Alright, so for the next class, I want you guys to do a reenactment of chapters 1 and 2, just to make sure you guys have really read everything, you're up to date, and grasped everything that's happened. I recommend getting together outside of class to go over it and pick out who wants to be which character. That way, next class it goes very smoothly. If you can get in touch with Eddie so that you guys can sort it out between yourselves, and that way he knows what to expect for next class, that way he's ready, and there's no holdups. So his phone number is 690-960-6969. Feel free to give him a call. Alright, if there's no other questions, that's going to be it for today. You guys have a good afternoon. Thanks again for watching. Check out The Guardians and the Mad Colonel, available on Amazon and Kindle today.